Now, a searing heat wave in Saudi Arabia has led to the deaths of over 1,000 people in the city of Mecca during the annual Hajj pilgrimage, according to a tally by the AFP news agency. That is, at least 2,000 people were hospitalized as temperatures there rose above 50 degrees Celsius. The Hajj is one of the largest gatherings of people in the world, with an estimated 1.8 million people attending this year.
Following in the footsteps of prophets, a religious journey in blistering heat beneath a burning sun. More than 1.8 million Muslims travelled to Saudi Arabia to make the holy pilgrimage from Mecca to Mount Arafat and back again. It's a journey of more than 20 kilometres meant to be travelled on foot over a 5 to 6 day period. For the pilgrims, it's a profoundly spiritual experience that helps wipe away sin. But this year, temperatures in Islam's holiest city, Mecca, reached a scorching 51.8 degrees Celsius. The extreme heat took its toll, leading to thousands of hospitalizations and hundreds of deaths. Many are still missing.
Yesterday we were on our way and we saw corpses on the road. They were just covered with a sheet, because the temperatures here are really high. And I'm not just talking about old people, young people have died too. We thought we were about to die. We didn't even have the strength to reach the steels due to the extreme heat. My hands were shaking, my body was about to collapse, and I was unable to continue.
The Saudi Ministry of Health deployed thousands of paramedics and set up field hospitals, water stations and misting systems in an attempt to manage the crisis.
The area around the Grand Mosque was developed with the Al-Mashar Al-Haram Path project to make it more suitable for walking and to make transportation easy and convenient. The largest air conditioning unit in the world was also installed to purify the air in the Grand Mosque and cool down the pilgrims coming to the Holy House of God.
Hajj has come to an end for this year, but climate change is set to push temperatures still higher. So, in a year's time, the Saudi authorities will face a similar challenge, because by then, the pilgrims will be back, no matter what.
Samer Bagaeen is an expert on future-proofing cities and joins us from Kent University's School of Architecture, Design and Planning. Welcome to DW. I'd like to start with your reaction to the death toll of this year's Hajj.
Hello, good afternoon. So I think, like your report made it perfectly clear, it's an unfortunate loss of life. And the fact that it's an unfortunate loss of life that's happened in large numbers in a short period of time, I think just shows the dangers of what can happen when you have a combination of soaring heat, large number of people gathering in tight places, and possibly not a lot of places for them to go to escape a crush.
Mm-hmm. What is it about the landscape around Mecca in Saudi Arabia that makes people so vulnerable to the heat?
So Mecca is actually, it's the location itself. It's probably not the problem, because Mecca sits in a valley, and actually where it sits in that valley, it's surrounded by mountains. It is not probably the problem is not the location itself. I think the other issue, which is probably a lot more serious, is the nature of the urban infrastructure that then surrounds the anyone going to Hajj, and that could include everything from streets to possibly, I mean, we've seen pictures of fountains of drinking water, but actually, you know, when you have a combination of heat and so many people, you'll have millions and millions of people on the spot. You need a different scale of infrastructure, you need a different scale of measures, and also you need an urban environment that actually makes people safe. And it looks like what's happened in this case, a combination of things not working well in the urban environment and the high heat, actually creating a situation where loss of life was inevitable.
Yeah, and scientists expect heat stress for Hajj pilgrims to only get worse as climate change intensifies, surpassing the extreme climate danger or extreme heat danger threshold. After what we've seen this year, in your opinion, what will have to be done to make the pilgrimage safer?
Yeah, so I think you're spot on in terms of the nature of the situation around the heat that we have seen, and we have seen that over a number of days across countries all over the Middle East. I think what probably needs to happen in the longer term is, rather than focus on one or two particular locations where you expect large numbers of people to be coming through, particularly in Mecca, and this is unique to Mecca, of course, and the nature of the Hajj. What you also need to be really mindful of is where these people are coming from, their routes down to where they are gathering, but also where they are staying, and so on. And make sure that you create a more comprehensive urban environment that probably looks beyond the footprint of the city of Mecca itself. I think that's absolutely critical, because it's how you spread those people out and actually possibly create a bit more space for them to move, but also to escape if things like the things that happened this week had actually happened. Now, there's probably not a lot that the city or even Saudi Arabia can do in terms of limiting numbers. So anything that we are doing is creating, in terms of the urban environment, a more resilient and a more Hajj-friendly urban environment, and one that actually manages to offer the space and the comfort, but also the safety for those millions of people.
To avoid a tragedy like the one we have seen this year. That was Samer Bagaeen from the Kent School of Architecture, Design and Planning. Thank you so much for those insights.
Thank you so much.